So my guest right now is Roger Burley. Hi, Roger.
Hello, Leslie.
And you are involved in somehow in bringing these dwarf goats to Cliff Island. Could you tell me a little bit about who got the idea, why, and
Sure.
anything?
Yeah. Well, I'm a trustee of ACE, which is the Athletics Conservation Education Foundation Corporation, what have you. And we are in year 2 of an invasive species removal program here on Cliff Island, and it's making a lot of progress. But there's a lot of ground to be covered, a lot of stuff to be removed yet. And so about a month ago, a number of us independently heard a report on NPR about the use of goats for management and control of invasive species. And so within a day or two, we got our heads together and figured out that we should do it. One of our worst invasive species is our most noxious is Japanese knotweed, commonly called bamboo. And so what we've done in a couple of the huge patches which have eluded our remedies for decades is to mow it all down and cut it to the ground level and then wait for the little green shoots to come up, which they always will, and then take the goats down to eat the little shoots. One of our ACE trustees, Emily Bukowski-Thal, has owned goats before, and she and her husband Michael are veterinarians, and so they jumped at the chance to do this.
Carolyn Walker has been fighting invasive species for her lifetime here on Cliff Island.
For like about 20 years.
For about 20 years. And
Yeah.
it's become a very real and real problem with great many concerns attached to that problem.
I run a plant nursery in Pennsylvania, and so I'm sort of in the horticultural world, and goats are being used to eat invasive plants. As a business, people have herds of goats and they rent them out to come and clear people's properties of invasive plants. So we have them out here. They're Nigerian dwarf goats, and there's 2 of them. They are about 12 weeks old, so they're not eating a ton of invasive plants yet, but we do have a trail that we're having them clear right now. It's an area that's very hard to work on, and it's hard to get volunteers to come and clear it, and so it doesn't get done very often. And so I figured if we had the goats, they could march along the trail and clear it. And what we do is we allow people to take the goats for walks, and then they actually go on a leash like a little dog, and they're actually much better behaved than dogs, and they walk along the trail and they eat all the plants that are along the trail, including poison ivy, which is one of their favorites. When they get a little bit bigger, and actually we're going to set this up pretty soon, we have a portable fence that we can move to where we have a stand of invasive plants, and they can then be set up in the area where those plants are and, left to graze, and then they will clear out that area and we can move them to another area. They're not just going to randomly roam around the island eating stuff. Just so we don't have any misconceptions, poison ivy is a native plant, so we don't really consider that an invasive, even though humans don't really like it that much. It does have a lot of good attributes for wildlife. So we wouldn't be second of all, we wouldn't be putting them in a stand of poison ivy, because when the oil from poison ivy gets on the goat's fur, if a human then touches the goat, they can get the poison ivy. Poison ivy would be more in a situation where it's along a trail that we just wanted to have cleared of whatever plants were. And so they would eat the grass, the Queen Anne's lace, the poison ivy, whatever it is there. With the invasive plants, they tend to just take over a specific area, and that's how they work. They kill everything else around there, so all there is the invasive plant. So you don't have to really worry about, are they going to eat something we like, because there's nothing we like there left. So that's how that works. We've gotten mostly really positive feedback, as long as we reassured people we weren't going to let the goats randomly roam around the island eating whatever they felt like eating. So I think it's been really good so far.
This is Leslie McVeigh for Community Update.